live again. What's happening, y'all? Welcome to the Creatia Conversation, the number one news source on Pornhub for all that nerd-ish. I am your host, Lord Cussalot Travis Pointer, a.k.a. the Dragon King, a.k.a. Big T, a.k.a. T Money, a.k.a. Sweet T, a.k.a. Black Merlin, a.k.a. the HNIC. And I am joined today by a very special guest, people. I am joined by the Will Gray. How you doing, Will?
Travis, it's an honor, man. I'm glad to be here with you and to be doing some more work with Creatia World. I've been on Smacking It Raw. I've been on Getting Off, so it made sense for me to come around to the other ones eventually, right?
Yeah. Did you do a Return to Wrestling with us?
We did do Return to Wrestling, too.
So.
Yeah, absolutely,
I
did.
I remember talking WCW with you, yeah.
So it's going to be a good day. Talk about something other than wrestling.
Yeah, it's good to have you. Thanks for stepping in. We appreciate it. Glad to have you. But Will, I haven't talked to you in a while. What you been up to lately? What you watching? What you playing? What's going on in the life of Will Gray?
I recently finished. We were just talking about it before we went live. I just recently finished my setup. I'm going to be able to start streaming some from my PlayStation. So I've been playing a ton of Fortnite and Call of Duty are my online games.
Oh, you're a shooters guy. Okay.
I'm a shooters guy. I'm about to start a live stream playthrough of The Last of Us 2. The first time I played through it, I never finished it. And I have to admit that on air. So I made it about halfway through and then just kind of life happened. Video games kind of got pushed aside.
I never played either one of them. It's one of those things. It's been sitting on my PlayStation since the PS4. It's just like, I'm gonna play this ever since the remaster. It's like the remaster, I got it like right after the remaster came out, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play this now. Never did. Then 2 came out. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back and play the first one, and then I'm gonna play 2. Never did. Then the show came out. I'm like, well, now I'm watching the show. Maybe I'll play after. I probably won't, but I'm gonna say I am.
At least it's like reading a book. You're going to be like, I'm always going to read that book, but it just sits on your bookshelf the whole time. I've got books that I've never finished. Video games are the same way.
I mean, I've got some right here that I've never finished,
The Last of Us 2 is honestly the reason why I switched to PS4. When the PS4 Pro came out and they released The Last of Us 2 and, Ultra 4K, God mode HD, I was like, okay. Like now's the time to upgrade. My my Xbox One was a first gen Xbox One, so it was getting old anyway. So I was like, okay, let's make the switch to PlayStation. I've never looked back, man. I feel good about the Switch.
Yeah. I mean, it's where all the cool kids play.
That's what I heard. So I made the switch to PSN, got off Xbox Live, switched over.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the family. We're happy to have you.
I appreciate it, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to some of the stuff we're gonna talk to.
Good. Watching anything? What's in the visual cortex for you every week?
I'm always late to the game on a lot of stuff. I just finished The Big Bang Theory. Absolutely love The Big Bang Theory. I like a lot of like comedy stuff. I was huge on hashtag Dim Dragons to plug one of your other shows. When I watched along on Sundays after the episodes just about every week. So I'm kind of in that fantasy realm. The Elden Rings, the Rings of Power. I like the fantasy side of stuff. So all of this is in my watch queue. So I'm kind of like slowly working into a lot of that stuff.
What do you think of Ring of Power?
I like we were talking about some of the stuff we're going to come up. When it comes to that fantasy world, I've always been kind of a Star Wars guy. But when it gets into that kind of fantasy outside of the sci-fi realm, I always leaned on the Tolkien world versus like a Harry Potter, or even if you go into the Twilight, when you look at pop culture as a whole with that kind of it. I was always kind of an old school nerd, so I've always been a Tolkien guy back. I'm old enough to have read The Hobbit when I was in high school, like it was a required reading.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm kind of a diehard mark for that stuff. So I get that people are complaining that it's never the same as when you look at the books, but you're never going to get a true transcript from a book to screen. So I don't feel like that's a true judgment.
It doesn't translate well. It's just you can't do it shot for shot for what's written in the book, because it's not visually interesting. So
you can't take 1,300 words in a man's written history of his world that he made up and then expect it to put into 8 perfectly timed 1 hour episodes or whatever. It's just not
yeah,
possible to execute it that way.
right.
And you
It's
see
not
it
how
a
it
lot
works.
in other franchises. Harry Potter and stuff all had the same issues.
Right. I don't really see those as issues. I see them as reimaginings. For me, I didn't read the books, and I saw all 3 movies long time ago. Uh, Never saw the Hobbit movies, but as I was watching Rings of Power, and I was just thinking to myself, this looks amazing. I love the way this looks. But as I'm watching this, I'm like, this whole time they haven't yet told me why I should care. And that was really what I was struggling with as I was watching it, because it was just like, this all looks cool. Some cool stuff is happening, but why do I care?
It's almost like they want you to know that backstory. And I'll tie in a wrestling term. It's like when AEW tells you a story between the Young Bucks and Adam Page that happened in New Japan or Ring of Honor. They don't tell you the Ring of Honor story because they almost expect their fans to already know that side of the story. And
Right.
I kind of get that vibe from the Ring of Power. It's like they almost expect you to know all the history that happened before or after the series, so that way they don't have to spend the extra time. And whether that's a production flaw or not, I think I kind of get why they do it that way.
Well, I understand it lets them get to the story they want to tell.
Yeah.
But for someone like me who's not as familiar, there's a lot that I was just like, I don't know why I'm supposed to care about all these things that happen. It's just, they were cool to watch, but it was, a lot of it was just like, okay, that was cool. And I've forgotten about it already because I don't really care.
I think that says it.
Yeah. But, hello, Allison. How are you? Welcome. There was something else I was going to say. I can't remember. It's fine. It had something to do with what I was watching or playing. I think it was about Mario Kart, because I play a lot of Mario Kart, but I haven't played Mario Kart since around Christmas. And I recently called out my entire friends list on Facebook, just told them all I'll whoop your ass in Mario Kart, and dropped my friend code on there to come at me. And I haven't even picked up my Switch since I put out that thing. I just forgot. And I'm like, I was thinking about it earlier today. I'm like, I called out all these people, and the comment section was full. So I'm sure there's plenty who did add me with their friend code, and I just haven't picked up my Switch to add them back. And now I'm like, I haven't even touched this thing in almost a month. I'm like, I got to get back on and remember how to play Mario Kart before.
I'm gonna throw my hat in that bag then, because if you're trying to get some Mario Kart, you can get these hands. I'm down for that.
I want all smoke on Mario Kart, so it's just, it is what it is. But let's get into some news here, because it is what we like to call around here on Creatia World, newsy time. So let's get into the news. We got a few things we want to talk about. First of all, let's start with this. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are doing a Netflix reunion thing special. And it's not like just a sit around and talk kind of thing. They got on the suits and everything. So this article I got, it comes from IGN. So the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers television series kicked off the Power Rangers phenomenon 30 years ago, and some of the original cast are reunited for a standalone anniversary special titled Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. The reunion is set to hit Netflix on April 19th. So we've got David Yost, who played the Blue Ranger, the original Blue Ranger. We've got Walter Jones, the original Black Ranger. Catherine Sutherland, not to be confused with Catherine Sunderland, completely different person. This Catherine was, with a C, not a K, and also, she's a Power Ranger, not a porn star, different person. Steve Cardenas, who was the second Red Ranger. So they didn't get Austin St. John, they got this dude, but hear that Austin St. John's an asshole. They don't want to work with him anymore anyway. So there's that. And then let's see who else. Karen Ashley, the second Yellow Ranger, and Johnny Young Bosch, the second Black Ranger. So we got two Black Rangers on this episode, which should be interesting to see. Are they both going to have the Mastodon black suit? You know, what are we doing here? What's going to happen? Because I see some screenshots here of Walter Jones in the suit, but I haven't seen any with, Johnny Young Bosch in it. So I'm interested to see what they do with it. But this will be fun. I mean, I grew up watching Power Rangers. What did you grow up on watching the Rangers?
Oh yeah, this is a big like kick in the nostalgia for me for sure. Like seeing the reunion of the original cast, like at that, like as far back as we can get.
Mm-hmm.
This is also.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say this is. I don't know. I don't want to steal your thunder. This has obviously been prepared for a while, but with the recent passing of Jason David Frank as well, like
Yeah,
all of this kind of ties together. So it's going to be kind of a good trip for the those older millennials that grew up watching this and knew all of these people as the Power Rangers.
definitely. Is there anybody that that wasn't mentioned in this that you would have expected to be on that's not there?
Um, is the guy who played I'm blanking on his name. Zordon?
Zordon, okay.
I'm not sure. For some reason, I feel like I've read that he passed.
It's entirely possible, but I don't know.
But also, I feel like if you're going to go all the way back to the original, having Rita Repulsa come in, having some of the original villains, having the Power Rangers there were amazing. But if you remember that first original run of the Power Rangers, the larger than life characters that they fought and the people they interacted with were just as important to those stories as the Power Rangers themselves. I feel like in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Like get Bulk and Skull in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. But yeah, Bulk and Skull, Rita, Zed, all of them.
For sure. I feel like you're missing a vital piece of that story. I'm sure they'll probably tie them in. And like I said, I'm not sure what the actors and actresses are up to, 30 years after the show. But I feel like if you're going to have some of the good guys, you have to have some of the bad guys too, right?
Right. They did do a thing though a long time ago. I think it was on Power Rangers in Space, where like they killed off Zordon himself, like the character of Zordon, and he like blasted away and like destroyed all the evil in the galaxy, basically. And Rita and Zed were like transformed into normal people when that happened. So if they did find a way to do that, that would have been interesting how somehow they ended up still being evil somehow anyway or something, or them just trying to be regular people, which would be funny as well. I'd enjoy that. But yeah, this should be a lot of fun to watch. I'll definitely be tuning in on April 19th to watch this one, and we'll be talking about it on this show because it's what we do. All right, any other thoughts on the Rangers before we move on?
The fact of reading the article and looking through the IGN, 145 episodes in 3 years. That's a hell of a run. Like when you think about the quantity of episodes they pumped out in that 2.5 year span before the first run got taken off the air. That's a ton of 30-minute episodes.
We got to think too, the way they did it was pretty smart because they only had to shoot half of it because they only shot the stuff outside of the suits because the rest of it was done with footage from like the Japanese show, Super Sentai, I think is what it's called. But yeah. It is still a lot though, because they were like, there was a couple of them. I think actually one of these people, Karen Ashley, who only did one season because she was just like the grind on it was too much. Like she's like, I can't do this all the time.
And but focal memories from my childhood, like Tommy playing the flute knife and the dragon
dagger.
Sword.
That's a flute dagger that he plays like a flute, but sounds like a synthesized trumpet.
Yeah, through a mask without a mouth hole.
Exactly.
And then like you see the dragon Zord rise in the water and come out and you kind of see it happen. For some reason, that's like a focal memory from my childhood watching this show. And like I said, it was just a big kick in the nostalgia, man. I'm hyped for this. It'll be a lot of fun.
Definitely. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Um. Okay, a bit more somber note. Ring of Honor star Jay Briscoe passed away last night, y'all. He believe it was a car accident, correct?
It was.
Yeah. So I don't know much about about the Briscoes. I'm not as familiar with Ring of Honor, but you are, Will. So you want to throw a few things out, let us know a bit about them, give us some memories, all that.
Um, Taking away just to speak on the news a little bit, WMDT, the local news station for Laurel, Delaware, posted last night that the car crash happened. It involved a couple minors with 2 fatalities on the scene. Bypassing the sadness of what happened, looking at the man and his life's work, him and his brother had 22 combined tag team title reigns that ranged from Mexico to Japan to the States, from GCW and Ring of Honor to Impact. They've had careers that have spanned pretty much a who's who of wrestling promotions, even working on a very short-term tryout contract with WWE all the way back to, I want to say, around that 2008, 2009 range. The Midnight Outlaws, when they wrestled in CZW in Philadelphia as kids, and Mark Briscoe had to lie about his age and wear a mask. Like, there's so much that goes into who these guys are. And when you talk about and use the term indie darling, you think about the Briscoes, because outside of Ring of Honor, that's what they're known for. 22 years of history in the business, and they never worked for one of the big 2 promotions. Wow. So rest in peace, Jay. Like, these guys are legends. Hall of Famers in Ring of Honor. They'll be wrestling Hall of Famers at some point in their career. Maybe not WWE's, but the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Wrestling Hall of Fame, yeah.
Yeah, these guys, Jay's one of those gone too early. You don't get good at wrestling until you're in your 30s. You master it at 40. Jay Briscoe was 38. So I said that they were primed to have the year of their 22-year-long career in 2023. So gone way too soon, Jay Briscoe.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not like I said, I'm not very familiar with them. But it's one of those names that you hear all the time if you're a wrestling fan, though. And I was never fortunate enough to really watch them work live or anything like that, but it's tragedy nonetheless.
I got on the Briscoe train in Ring of Honor, but recently when I started covering pro wrestling professionally, late 2019, 2020, by the time their contract was up in 2021, and I had been watching them pretty regularly for 2.5, 3 years almost, they became free agents. I wrote a big article for the Sportster about wrestling's wild cards. It's on botchspots and chairshots.com as well, about how they were the biggest tag team on the free agent market, that outside of diehard wrestling fans, most mainstream wrestling fans didn't even know who they were.
Right, because before I would, learn these names from just like I said, being a wrestling fan and interacting with other people who are big wrestling fans, you say the name Briscoe, I'm thinking Gerald Briscoe.
Yeah, Jerry and Jack.
Yeah, like those are the Briscoes that I think of when somebody tells me the Briscoes.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed I never really got a chance to really check them out, because like I said, I've heard amazing things about them, and I do enjoy a good tag team wrestling from real tag teams, not those teams they just throw together just because. So
that's what made the FTR feud so special through 2022, starting at Final Battle in 2021, and then the last 2 matches of their series, the 2 out of 3 falls, then the double dog collar match. Like, that's a historic feud in tag team wrestling that'll still be talked about in 20 or 30 years, the same way we talk about Midnight and Rock and Roll from the 80s. Like, those guys put on a clinic for tag team wrestling, and like, it's just sad. Like I told you in the message, like, it's just weird. Like, as soon as it happened, it was almost kind of surreal. Like, really?
So JJ, I see your comment. I just put it up on the screen. So they used to do promos with Jay eating kid snacks in the background, or he just would. What was he eating? What snacks was he eating?
Their thing is, when they do their gimmicks, like their whole, it's not even a gimmick. I don't even want to say that word, but like their whole thing is when they're not wrestling, they're working on their farm, like whole ass livestock. like, you know, plants and food and veggies. Like they work on a farm in Delaware. Like that's their life. And during their promos, they shoot all of them on a handheld camera. Most of them are the old school with a timestamp and like battery life on them. Like they make it old school like that on
Yeah.
purpose. And Mark in every single one of them just about is always eating something. It'll be like little yogurt cups or fruit cups. Like the one I've got a TikTok posted for one of their promos. He's literally eating a jar of peanut butter with a spoon, like just during the promo, just like it's completely normal. And like he does it in every single one of them. I'll send you some videos, man. JJ said it: pudding, Jello, ice cream bars. Like I said, a jar of peanut butter. Like the man, like eating anything on screen. Like, and that's the gimmick is they try to make it look as natural and real
They just
world
hang
as
it out.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that sounds pretty fucking cool. So I would definitely enjoy that. I'm down for the shenanigans always. So okay.
They were good at it, man. And that's the one thing that needs to be taken away is how much they brought to the wrestling business. They were good guys. They did it right. They had a great career, longevity. They had hiccups along the way. I'm not taking away from the bad stuff, but like they repented for what they did. They apologized. They grew as humans. Like they did it the right way, man. This is just, it just sucks. That's just the best way to put it.
Tragic. Yeah. Okay. Well, not to switch gears too hard, but we do have other things to get to on this show, but we wanted to make sure we, you know, gave him his time as well. The Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium posters have just been released for us to take a look at. I'm actually going to pull them up here for us to just take a look at together. So give me just a second. I'm going to pull them up because I'm really looking forward to this movie.
Me too. Anything MCU right now, I'm super fucking hyped for.
But yeah, let me. Oh, you don't need that part. Okay. So all of them are just supposed to be them just in the quantum realm. So this one, you know, you got old Steve Lang here. He's there. We got Hope here, the Wasp, of course. How much Evangeline Lilly were you aware of before she was in the MCU?
Almost none, to be completely honest. Like she was one of those, like she's a familiar face. Like I feel like I've seen her and stuff, but she's one of those actresses where you're like, I feel like I just watched something with her in it, but you can't ever pick something. And that's just because she was a familiar face. I wasn't super familiar with like her work specifically, though.
Okay.
I think she was a great role. She played killer roles in the Wasp, and everything she did with the Avengers Endgame and Infinity War and stuff was all great.
Yeah, definitely. I first became aware of her from Lost.
Okay.
So, like, she was Kate on Lost, and I just remember her annoying the fuck out of me just all the time. It was just like I remember like thinking to myself all the time, "Fucking Kate." Just. And it wasn't just her; it was multiple people. Like there was Ben on the show too. Ben Lyons, like fucking Ben. Just she would frustrate me for different reasons than Ben, but he was just like I just remember getting frustrated with her all the time. And then she was in that movie with Hugh Jackman. Was that Real Steel when he was like with the boxing robot or whatever?
Oh yeah, she was in that. That was a pretty cool movie, man.
It was.
Like I really got into that for a while. My 8-year-old son like binge watched that movie for a long time because it's big robots beating the crap out of each other.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
What's not to love? Kang the Conqueror, y'all. Like once they killed Thanos, I was just like, how are they? What are they gonna do now? Like, what are they? Kang was the answer, and I'm down for Kang the Conqueror.
100%. And he's going to be such a vital role moving forward. He's got villain roles in other movies coming up in the upcoming phase. Like, if there was somebody to roll into after Thanos, this is the perfect pick.
Yeah. And the actor, Jonathan Majors, great choice. First really encountered him, Lovecraft Country on HBO. Fantastic in that show. Fantastic show. Still a fucking shame he didn't get a second season. But yeah, man. Really looking forward to Kang.
He's going to be a fantastic asset for the MCU moving forward
Yeah.
because there's so many. He ties into so many franchises, and just looking at the ones he's confirmed in 3 MCU franchises in the next phase. So that's going to be he's going to be huge. It's going to be amazing to have him.
And that's his kid. Now, this is like the 4th person that's playing this kid. Like they change the actor all the time, but I get it because they had the time jumps and all that kind of stuff.
She'll be a cool addition to the cast. I think it'll be kind of interesting to see how they tie her in with putting her in a suit. Not to say because I don't remember it in the comics doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right. But there's a million comics, so missing something is not impossible at all.
Yeah, so I think it'll be a cool addition, if nothing else. It's very reminiscent of the rescue armor in Endgame when Pepper Potts showed up in her suit after not having seen it at all, and her being, it was a vital thing in the comic books, but never in the MCU. They teased her getting in the armor, but it never happened until then. So this could be an homage to something like that, where in the comic books they talk about it happening, but it never actually does.
Yeah. And to answer your question, Cajun, yes, he was. Kang was first shown in Loki at the end when he just basically knew everything that was going to happen already, and then he reached the point like, oh, now I don't know anything that's going to happen after this, so let's see what happens. It was fun.
It was very Thanos-y at the end of the second Avengers, where it was more of like a tease, like that's how I took it, at least, like because he was only in that one episode for that one little bit.
Right. And Hank Pym. What can we say about Michael Douglas that hasn't already been said about Michael Douglas? But I'm trying to think of a Michael Douglas role that I didn't like him in, and I can't think of one.
He's just classic. He's got that look. He's aged well throughout time. And kind of talk about guys that have kept their hands clean through a big chunk of their career. You really haven't read a whole lot of trash that's been attached to this man. Like, he's just put his head down and been a great actor. And his role in the MCU, playing Hank Pym, the importance of what the Pym particles represent throughout the MCU, and then the ability to time warp through the quantum realm and everything that goes into it. He's one of those anchor characters that don't get a lot of screen time, but without him, everything that's happened wouldn't be feasible, really.
Yeah. And that was the thing with when it came to Ant-Man, my knowledge of Ant-Man was that Hank Pym was Ant-Man. I didn't even know, like, I knew about Scott Lang, but it was just like, to me, like, nah, Hank Pym's Ant-Man. So it's just seeing what they did with the MCU. I'm like, okay, that's what they're going with. I'm cool with it. That's fine. But it's all a surprise to me now because I'm not as familiar with the Steve Lang character.
It's just different generations. It's like when you look at like different versions of Batman, not to go DC in us, but like different men wore the cape and cowl. It wasn't always just Bruce Wayne,
right?
And this is kind of that, just an homage, a passing of the torch. Hank Pym couldn't do it anymore. He couldn't perform, so it got passed along to Lang.
Yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, the start of the Young Avengers. I would say the start of the Young Avengers was on Hawkeye, the Hawkeye series, because they had old girl there whose name I'm forgetting already, but that was them starting the next generation was probably with her, is what I would think. But yeah, they're getting into that. They're definitely getting into the new Avengers, the Young Avengers.
Is the Young Avengers in this phase, or is it set for the next one? Do you know right offhand?
I don't know.
I know it's in the works and I know it's coming. I just don't remember when exactly.
Yeah, I doubt that it's this coming phase, just because they have so much to still tell the current people. Probably use this to set it up, and then next phase will probably focus more on them. At least that's what I would guess. The original Wasp, Janet.
I have to be honest, big MILF crush here, man. She's hot.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I also like her character. She's one of those like coming back after spending all that time in the quantum realm. I did have the suspicion though, and this is a plot loop or a plot hole, and it's not major. It's just me being a nerd. When Scott went in, it felt like the 3 years was 3 minutes or whatever he said in Endgame when he popped back out. So time was traveling slower there. When she went into the time warp and then came out of it, she was older. Wouldn't she have looked the same as when she went in, theoretically, using that logic?
I would say probably not. I would say because time moves slower, it doesn't stop.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
At least that's how I see it.
Asking the real questions, Travis.
Yeah, that's what I know. We got to get real deep down into. We get to the hard hitting news here. You know? Like, did she age in the quantum realm? That's what the people really want to know. Because yeah, she was in there for years. She wasn't just in there for a few minutes. So yeah, she's like, time slows down. It doesn't stop. At least that's how I'm interpreting.
I mean, we're just sitting here talking about astrophysics and time warps and laws of physics. Like, we're totally qualified for this conversation.
Exactly. I read that one article that was on Facebook that one time, and now I know everything about.
Like I said, I just finished the Big Bang Theory. I'm obviously a particle physicist now.
You are. You know everything there is to know. No one can ever question your knowledge. And Bill Murray. Apparently, he's got a bigger role in this than we think he does. But we'll see what happens.
He's to Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But to me, like our first thing, it just seemed like he'd be kind of like, around a little bit, provide some laughs, but then we move on. But apparently, no, he's got a big role to play. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they gave him his own poster, but that could just be because he's Bill Murray. So don't know.
I like it. This could be like a Michael Keaton kind of thing for us.
You're right. You're right.
The Spider-Man thing where we get it and he just ends up just killing it, knocking it out of the park. And if not, we get Bill Murray. So it's a win-win.
Monty says you get a check in the mail, your certificate once you complete the Big Bang Theory.
That's what I thought. I'm waiting for my MIT certificate. It should be coming any day now.
Yeah. And that's all of them. But yeah, definitely looking forward to Ant-Man and the Wasp. I mean, not me. Yeah, Quantumania. That's just February 17th, I think it said. Yeah, 17th. One more thing, though, sir.
Yes, sir.
You're a Harry Potter guy?
I am.
Okay. So those who follow us know, like, I don't dislike the Potter stuff, but honestly, I don't care. It's one of those, I saw the first movie and a half because I was working at Universal back in the day, and we got a free screening for the newest movie that came out. I want to say it was the 6th one. And I'm like, well, I haven't seen any of the other ones. Let me go ahead and watch them. So I sat down to watch them. Got through the first one. I'm like, okay. Started watching the second one. I'm just like, I just don't care. And turned it off. People keep telling me I got to get through the first 3 for it to really get good. And I'm just like, I don't want to watch 3 movies before a series gets good. But I did make a promise that I will sit and do a marathon with someone. And so now I'm obligated to do that. So at some point, I will have to watch all the Harry Potter movies.
It's not that bad, man. It's not that bad at all. They're good. I liked them. I'll say that as a fan, as somebody who read the books up until the 6th one. By that point, the movies were out, so I just kind of started just watching the movies, honestly. But it's a good series from beginning to end. There's really not a bad movie in the deck, so I think you got a good watch ahead of you.
Yeah, we got a Ravenclaw in the chat.
I was sorted into Slytherin, so I know that. Affirmative.
Fist bump me. There we go.
Yep. There we go.
Slytherin's here. Yeah. People who know me, when I tell them, they're like, "Oh yeah, that tracks."
That's 100%. People are like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Because last week we the reason why we're talking about it is there's a new Hogwarts Legacy trail that just dropped. We're gonna watch that here. But last week there was another thing that dropped, and I was watching it with Vince, and I let him know, like, yeah, I'm Slytherin. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, let's watch this right now. For everybody that's watching right now, drop your house in the chat. Let's just see who everybody is. I just want to know. I'm just curious how many we got. And if special shout out if you're a fellow Slytherin, because you got two of us here. Just a second, though. I'm gonna pull this up. All right. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you can hear it.
Take this. Find them.
I know the owl is who brings the invitations, right? Yeah, I know some stuff.
It's like in Game of Thrones, the owls are the message carriers.
Okay, so they don't just deliver invitations; they deliver other things as well.
Yeah, and the students can also have them as like their pets.
Okay.
Come on, settle. I said settle. Abracadabra!
Oh, don't let them get you.
Your legacy begins now. Hogwarts Legacy. Live the unwritten.
Okay.
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so like I've said before, I'm not a Harry Potter person like that at all. However, like looking at what's involved with this game and everything, like and watching all the different videos that have come out for it, and I'm like, this might be what gets me. This might be what gets me in.
Is it a RPG style game? I don't know anything about it yet. This is the first
really?
time.
Okay, so yeah, it's an open world RPG style game. You come in your own,
So, that's all I need to know.
Your original
Open
character.
world.
You create your own character, and the character creator in this thing is fantastic from what I've seen. I am a sucker for a good character creators thing. They have always been my thing since I was a kid. Like playing games with a character creator. As I got older, I figured out why. It was because growing up playing video games, very rarely would there be a game that came out that featured a black character. And so the only way I would have one is if I created them myself. So any game that had a created character, I was all over it just for that very reason. I didn't figure that out until I was a little bit older, probably like in high school or whatever, when I realized that was why. But yeah, the character creator in this is great. Yeah, open world. You're like, going to classes and all that kind of stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And honestly, there's like a bunch of videos. I'll send them to you because they're great. They're like 30-something minutes long, and it's like breakdowns of how the game works and everything.
I'm a Fallout guy, so Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout, Fallout New Vegas.
Oh yeah, this is what you look. It's that
all
in
of
Hogwarts.
That. The idea of putting that in Hogwarts, I'm just like, take my money.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's see what we got in the chat. So we got a Ravenclaw here, of course. We saw that earlier. Vince is a Hufflepuff. Let's see, we got another Hufflepuff. Here, Ravenclaw.
Allison's a Slytherin.
Another Slytherin.
I saw that one.
Yes.
That makes sense that she and I are both Slytherin, so on botch spots and share shots. That makes a lot of sense.
Got a Gryffindor here. Yeah.
I'm surprised, but not surprised that just about everybody in the chat could call their Harry Potter house out. I was like, okay. I was thoroughly impressed that everybody just knew it right offhand. They're like, oh yeah.
The game comes out February 10th.
I'll definitely be getting that. That sounds
next
amazing.
Month, February 10th. Like I said, looking at that, I'm like, this might be what gets me in. This might, I might become a Harry Potter person after this. But yeah, it's not surprising everybody. Like even someone like me who doesn't really get into Harry Potter like that knows their Hogwarts. Yeah. It'd be great to play with your kids. Like,
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Just looking at the trailer, if they can execute a fraction of what you could do in similar games like Skyrim and Fallout, if they can, emulate that style of gameplay, but in a Harry Potter world, it'll be, like what you could do in that game would be endless. Literally, there's so many side quests and stories they could incorporate over time. It would be nuts.
Yep. Now, in this game, You got your house, you ride around on your brooms and you cast your spells and you use a wand. Well, we need to talk about a different kind of wand right now, Will, because this episode of the Creatia Conversation is brought to you by mysensualsecrets.com. All right. So mysensualsecrets.com boasts one of the largest catalogs on the web across all the varying levels of adult toy categories, with toys for him, for her, and for both. The product line is extensive compared to other competitors in the sexual wellness industry. Orders ship within 24 hours, so customers are always satisfied with both the price and quality. MySensualSecrets.com has top-rated reviews and exceptional customer service. So go to sensual.creationworld.com to receive 10% off your order today. That is sensual.creationworld.com to receive 10% off. How's your toy collection, Will?
Very well versed.
Good. And you want to expand, you can go to central.creationworld.com. Once again, everyone, like I remind you every day, toys are your friend. They are not the enemy. Use them, utilize them, take your game to the next level. Get on it. You a dog person, Will?
I'm a dog person. Recently became a cat person, but through and through, I've always been a dog guy. It's always been my thing.
Good. So am I. And this episode is also brought to you by dog.com. So dog.com is your online dog supplies, shopping, and information destination. Everything your dog needs, from toys to treats and food, is available, including collars and leashes. They even have outdoor gear and water safety gear for your furry friend. So go to dog.creationworld.com to get up to 64% off. That is dog.creationworld.com and get up to 60% off. So yeah, anything you're looking for your little furry buddy, get it there. Like I said, I saw everything from, different bowls and all that kind of stuff to a life vest for your dog if you're going out on the water or something on a boat. You want to make sure they're okay. It's great stuff.
And saving some money is always good because dogs are freaking expensive.
Oh, they are. You don't know it until you have one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's see. Anything else fun, interesting happened that you want to, throw some eyes on? The Critics' Choice Awards happened on Sunday, but
Better Call Saul. I was hyped for that. I was always a big Breaking Bad fan, so seeing them get some roses and getting their name mentioned a few times throughout the night.
Isn't that a thing where they just been on forever and they just haven't won an Emmy?
Yeah, they've pretty much been around. Better Call Saul, I believe, may be coming up on more seasons than Breaking Bad. They're hitting that 5 or 6 mark, so they're got to be getting close because I think Breaking Bad had 7 or 8.
Yeah, I think there's a thing where they may have set a record for the most nominations without a win in the end.
So it was nice to see them get a win. Looking through the list a little bit, I was talking to you about it. I never saw Anywhere Everywhere All at Once, but I did see Elvis. I saw Top Gun. So it was one of those seeing the names of the people that came through. It was kind of cool to see some of them, especially like I said, Better Call Saul, A Knives Out. That's on my list. I'm a big fan of that series. I've heard great things about it. Never seen it though. Yeah, and then just looking through it, there was some stuff where I was like, okay, good. I'm glad they won. And then there's some stuff where I'm like, what the fuck is that? I have no idea what some of these even are.
Yeah. The one thing that I was looking at, the winner of Best Animated Series, Harley Quinn, but I'm just looking at the ones that were nominated. I'm surprised yet not surprised that Bob's Burgers was nominated, just because it's a great show. I just didn't think other people knew how great it was.
I love Bob's Burgers.
Oh, I do too. It's just I would just figure it's one of those shows that people just kind of watch without really recognizing how great it is. Kind of like how Family Guy is now, as opposed to where it used to be where everybody was all over. Now it's just something they watch. But I was happy to see Star Trek Lower Decks getting a nod though, because that is a great show. I love it so much. As a Star Trek guy, it's just seeing something on that level where it's just they take what Star Trek is and kind of flip it on its head and make it funny is pretty cool. Because there's a lot of stuff that happens in Star Trek that, if you think about it, it's pretty fucking silly. But it's fun to see them poke the fun at it themselves and all that, which is really cool.
And big shout out to Jeremy Allen White winning best actor in a comedy series for The Bear. as a former chef. I call myself a chef by trade and a mark by choice. So as a former chef, seeing a show that was so like
Stressful.
it was for me watching it was very fresh and very real because you don't see that grittiness a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
When you watch movies like Burnt and you see the nice, crisp, clean white coats and the yes chefs, that's not what it's like to work in an everyday normal fucking restaurant. Like,
Right.
go watch The Bear and you'll get an idea of what it's like to work for mom and pop.
When I watched that, like there was it triggered me. Somebody who's worked in the kitchen, he's like, ugh. And like I'm trying to remember a time when I laughed watching that show. I don't remember laughing once. But I remember seeing things and just being like, oh shit, and just be like, okay, what are they gonna do about this? Are they gonna oh no.
The anxiety from when his beef came in and it had bones in it. So it took 3 hours longer to braise. So everybody's shitting themselves because they're like, the beef's not going to be ready by dinner. The beef's not going to be ready by dinner. And I'm like, I've lived that. I know exactly what's going on in that man's brain right now. Like, because I've been there.
Yeah, or something happens like when you're, I used to work at Pizza Hut, and something happened with the dough shipment, and there's like nothing but thin crust in the restaurant, and you work at Pizza Hut where everybody wants fucking pan pizza and stuffed crust, and you can't do it, and like everybody's coming in pissed off.
The shadiness where you like go down the road and borrow a case of lettuce from the restaurant next door because your produce truck didn't come. That's the kind of shit that actually happens in restaurants. Like walking down the thing with a case of, lettuce or carrots or a bag of onions thrown over your shoulder because your produce truck didn't come. That's real life.
Yeah, exactly. Like the anxiety of you stressing out about their work.
For sure.
Oh man, but yeah, the Bear was. I'm glad other people who like watched that show who didn't work in restaurants got to see what it's like working in a restaurant. Like,
very real.
You gotta want to be there. Like, if you do that long term, you have to want to be there. That can't just be a job for you. Abbott Elementary, best comedy series. They just been cleaning up an awards period. Just. Let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to make sure I shouted out with this? Angela Bassett, she won Best Supporting Actress for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. She also won at the Golden Globes. That was the first time at the Golden Globes that an MCU actor has won a major award at a show. So big shout out to that. But her performance on that movie was stellar. Just goddamn.
Niecy Nash Betts winning Best Supporting Actress for her role in Dahmer. Like, that was a hell show.
I never watched Dahmer. I heard about it, but I never watched it.
She played the neighbor next door to him. She was pretty much she was that anchor point throughout the show where it was like the neighbor reported him. She was the one who called the cops, but the cops never did anything because the neighborhood they lived in, they were just the crazy woman who's just reporting everything she sees, right? And then it turns out this whole time she's reporting, and it turns out to be Jeffrey Dahmer. Brilliant actress. She did a great job. So I'm glad. Another person I'm glad to see get some roses for what she did.
Yeah. Stifler's mom won again for Best Supporting Actress in the Drama. Yeah, she's Stifler's mom forever for me. Whatever she plays in anything else, that's Stifler's mom.
Oh yeah, and hearing about her life after she played that role, she'll tell you she's Stifler's mom.
Oh yeah, exactly. I've read about that. She was just like, I got so much young dick.
She was like, my body count quadrupled after that movie.
Oh shit. Okay. But yeah, that happened. Anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, that's it, really. I mean, looking through the list and the links, I think we've touched on a whole lot of everything. I mean, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that'll be it for this day's episode of the Creatia Conversation. Thank you for being here. Everybody watching live, thank you for watching us live. If you're not and you're watching later, you can watch us live right here, twitch.tv/CreatiaWorld. So you can also watch us live on YouTube, youtube.com/CreatiaWorld, or just watch it later on YouTube at youtube.com/CreatiaWorld. But if you really do want to watch us later, you don't want to be on YouTube for some reason, or if you're already somewhere else like Pornhub, you can find us on Pornhub at pornhub.com/model/CreatiaWorld. All our stuff is there too. If you're looking to, just
throw us a little extra support. Throw a couple bucks our way. For just $1, you can get all the, fun extra stuff on Patreon. It's just patreon.com/creationworld. You get Return to Wrestling with myself and the Warden Matt Ritter. Will was on one episode with us of that, which was fun. We also got Multiverse with myself and Mara the Shark Watkins, which is great as well. So on that one, we're looking at old animated comic book shows. Comic book movies. We might switch over to shows at some point when we get through all the movies. That'll take a while though. But yeah, there's that. But where everything lives for Creatia World is at creatiaworld.com. So just go there, check us all out, see what we're all about, what we do, who we all are. There's full bio breakdowns of all of us, including our Hogwarts house. I think, if I remember correctly, I think our Hogwarts house is on there. Our favorite drinks of choice, all that random things. Will's been on Smacking It Raw before, but Smacking It Raw is every Friday night live. Facebook.com/group/Smacking It Raw to join that Facebook group. Okay. Also, you can find Creatia World on Twitter and Instagram at It's Creatia World. That is at ITSCREATIA World. As always, I'm not telling you how to spell world. If you don't know how to spell world, get a goddamn dictionary. Also, Facebook at Facebook.com/Creatia World. Believe that's it for all the plugging of shit. You can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Lord_Cussalott. That is at LORD_CUSSALOTT. Will, where can they find you?
Travis, I want to start by thanking you and thanking the Warden Matt for letting me plug and play here today. I told him it's my personal mission to be the Creatia Conversation Poppy for 2023. So I appreciate this. You can find me anywhere you do anything on the internet at The Will Graham, the host and lead writer of Botchbots and Chair Shots and BotchbotsandChairShots.com. It is a two-man show. I am joined every week by my co-host and producer extraordinaire, the Hovid of my Beyonce and the Bonnie to my Clyde, the boss bitch, Miss Allison Siegel. We are live on Thursdays at 8 p.m. on the Rivet City Radio Podcast Network.
All right. Make sure y'all check that out. I will. All right. I guess that'll be it, though. Thanks again for being here, Will. We really appreciate it. As for the rest of you all, thank you for being here and watching. We'll see y'all tomorrow. It will be Matt and Mara tomorrow. So Mara's first episode of the Creatia Conversation since our new format started will be tomorrow. So check that out. We'll see you then. Until then, we out.